What is going on, everybody? Goofy Rexy here again. So this is their second video here, or could be the first, depending on which one are you watching this in. But we're gonna be going through a top 10 video today for the top 10 raid characters in Marvel Strike Force here. This is a top 10 collab video. I'm happy to say I'm happy to be a part of the team here. So this is a list that is compiled of myself, WolverThor, Yeti and then Punks. He puts together the infographic for you guys, beautifies it. We rank these characters here and then, bring them kind of to you guys, to kind of help you guys out to figure out and to know who the top characters in this particular category is. Today, we're going to be talking about raids, your ultimate raids here. And I'm not going to be doing this by my lonesome. I'm going to be doing this today with my brother here, WolverThor. What is up? What is going on?
What's going on? How's everybody doing?
Well, I can tell you I'm doing pretty well. I hope you're doing pretty well. Thank you for being here, by the way.
Yeah, happy to do a collab in the YouTube realm of the world. I always appreciate your work and like what you do.
Absolutely.
So I appreciate you having me.
Absolutely. Thank you so much for having me be a part of this team. I'm excited about it. Happy to be doing it here. And, I guess we can kind of not tarry. We can just kind of dive right on into it and talk about, top 10. Let's talk about it. We're gonna rank this. We're gonna rank this from 10 all the way down to 1. And obviously, I always like to know what your guys' thoughts are. So leave those in the comments. But let's just dive on into it, guys. First character on the list here, coming in at number 10, is Thanos. Coming in at number 10 is Thanos here. So I actually use Thanos quite a bit, and he's actually a part of my secondary sort of raid team right now. I use him a lot with like a couple of characters that are on this list. I won't mention them yet, but use him kind of on a team to kind of feed energy to a lot of other characters. He's big, he's tanky, so I get a lot of really good usage out of him. But what are your thoughts here on Thanos being number 10 on this list?
Yeah, I used to use him a lot more than I currently do, but I've got zero problem with him being here. In an Ultimates raid, I still use Black Order, at least on one node. And I recall not that long ago where he was a big part of my raid team. And even before Black Order, that energy, that battery, you stick him at an end, that's a big deal. So yeah, I think he's a good character to have in the top 10 of raid. Absolutely.
All right, and then the next character, number 9 on this list here, is Black Bolt. And Black Bolt I think is usable in a lot of different game modes. War, he's usable in in arena. And obviously as well here, I think, obviously I think number 9 on this list seems to be appropriate. I find still, that yo-yo BB combination, with 3 other characters that we won't mention yet. Really good team.
Yeah. He's, I mentioned that battery feed from Thanos. If you put him on right next to Thanos there, depending what characters we talk about later, but to get to his ult or even his special more often, and it's a fun combo. And that passive, if you don't take out any of the character, there's a little bit of sliver left, and it's like, luckily you get them down with this passive so they don't get off whatever ability they've got going next turn. It's nice.
Yeah, really fun character to have. I think for me, probably one of the most fun characters to play with in Marvel Strike Force in my personal opinion.
Big time for sure.
All right, and number 8 coming in. We were just talking about the Black Bolt, and then now we got the yo-yo. So I feel like I've already kind of mentioned this already. Black Bolt yo-yo combination. Black Bolt's kind of slow, a little slow, but with that basic, from yo-yo, he's able to go often, clearing, stripping, positive effects off the other team, really kind of, heighten sort of what Black Bolt does. Yo-yo, obviously, with her offense down, love her ability energy too with her ultimate, giving that to Black Bolt. Super solid combo in general, but, for raids, I think that combo just works really well, like I said, with 3 other characters that we won't mention yet.
Yeah, the offense down, the assists on our basic, it's pretty solid. I remember when I had her on my team for a long time, I didn't use that special very often, frankly. I'd always just want to call in that assist with Black Bolt. So they're definitely a great pair to have here. And, for a long time, they were really key for a lot of people in their raid teams. And I encourage it for any players who are coming up and, don't have a certain team that may or might not be on this list later. This is a great pair to have.
Yeah, for sure. Do it.
Yeah, definitely do it.
The seventh character, number 7 on this list here, is Ebony Maw. Once again, another. I think one of the best plug and play characters in Marvel Strike Force. Find a lot of really good ability, good usage out of him. Offense down, defense up on your team. Obviously for raids, being able to pull, use that ultimate to get that energy, heal your team. But then also, what I really like about it is, the AOE slow, right? Slowing down, the other characters, in raids. So I won't talk about all of it, but what are your thoughts on Ebony Maw being at number 7?
Yeah, he's another character that you can place next to Thanos, assuming you don't have a full Black Order, obviously, and get that battery to get to those abilities more, where you get that more defense up, more offense down, and more of the health steal, and slow on the other team. I like him, and he's got way back in the day, actually, Punk, Yeti, and I also created this Ebony Maw's Most Wanted graphic, where it was basically, because he was such a huge character that people wanted to know where the controllers were on the map. So when those controllers come, and they die, he's got that barrier, right? And he's got that ability block. So that's a really good thing to do and kind of know. And I'm sure he'll, depending how raids go in the future, he could make a resurgence back, depending if we get any restrictions or anything. Again, Scopely, don't get any ideas.
No.
But yeah, I like him. He's a good character to have on this list.
Great character. All right, número 6. I screwed that up. 6 yes, is Emma Frost. And Emma Frost, man, is, once again, surprise, she's on another list, another area, right? Like I said, probably the best character in Marvel Strike Force, man. But yeah, use her. I love using her arrays. So I actually use her a lot with Ebony Maw and the 3 characters that I won't even mention too. We'll talk about that later. But those three characters there, and I also use her a lot with Thanos. I've used Black Bolt, to feed use Thanos to feed energy to Maw, Black Bolt, and then Emma is kind of just there to kind of help the team with sustain, right? Clearing negative effects off, and then clearing positive effects off the other team, and then mind control, stuff like that, that I find to be really helpful. Her cooldowns are very low too. So, or she has low cooldown, so she's very good, for raids. So I really like her as a character.
Yeah, and that passive slowdown, where it reduces the speed of all the AI and all that, that's nice. So you can get some abilities going early on. And I used to use her on a team that I called Ice Cream. You can kind of get an idea who might have been on that team, and some of the characters, like you mentioned, were probably going to pop up. And I filled her into that one spot that was available, and it was great. I loved it. It wasn't perfect, but it was really nice, and you could one shot a ton of nodes with it.
Yeah, for sure. All right, so I know that you guys are probably asking the question, where are these characters? And they're coming up right now. Obviously, the top 5 characters on this list are going to be, the symbiote team, and we're just going to talk about exactly where we kind of rank them, and let's see who comes in at number 5 here. So number 5 is Venom, and I think Venom has a lot of usage on this team. I think realistically the defense ups, spreading, negative effects. I think apart from Symbiote Spider-Man, I think he's probably my favorite character on this team. I like once again being able to flip those positive effects into negative effects, and he's kind of tanky. He doesn't really die as much as one other character on this team does.
I think I know what you're talking about.
But I like him. But do you think that he's the lowest ranked character on this list? On the symbiote team?
It's funny, when we did these rankings, I can't remember exactly where I placed him, but I remember not having a problem with him being at 5. And then we had these seasoned requirements that, depending when someone's watching this video, might remember or not, but it's, basically, 2 of the symbiotes were off of that list. And he was one of them. And I had a really hard time surviving at times because I didn't have that defense up. And I was like, man, I think I might have underestimated how critical that defense up is. So, I could see him being higher, honestly. And I didn't think about it until after I experienced that a little bit and trying to use, certain symbiotes without him and to get season points. It's not a bad one. I think a lot of people would probably agree he's the 5th, but I do want to even contest what myself and us put on here and say, and I could see him being up a spot or 2 here for sure. Almost only because of that defense up. It is huge.
Yeah. Yeah, defense up is huge. The other utility is also great too. Yeah, I mean what would we say, the whole of some of its parts, right? I mean, you kind of want all the parts there, and Venom really does provide a lot for that team. All right, next one, the 4th character coming in here is Scream. I could go either or, 5 or 4. I think I may have ranked her the 5th character just because of, I just love the fact that she dies so often. Squishy. She's super squishy. But the kit is really beneficial. Obviously, the heal on kill, and then obviously the speed up. It takes a while sometimes for them to get going with the kills because the only character that really does damage on that team really is kind of Scream, right? And then really symbiote Spider-Man. So it takes a little while at times. Well, Carnage with the special ability, but yeah, what do you think about her being, number 4 on this list?
Yeah, she's the one I was thinking about for sure, potentially switching with Venom. You mentioned some of her different abilities. I love the fact that she can get behind those stealths and clear some of those. But again, she chains, so sometimes she just walks right by him if there's someone else next to her. But I love the offense down, which can be flipped by another character that might or might not be on this list. So I try to time that with certain things. And even Venom's, though I try to use his ultimate to get that heal block, so to get a death. So, for her, the disrupt also is big whenever you've got a Juggernaut out there. I love timing that. She's got more slows. Yeah, she's, and like you mentioned, she's a good damage dealer too. So, and she clears buffs. I mean, it's just, I think it's just like picking amongst, you've got, depending on what you're into, whether it's cars or, fishing rods or beautiful people, you've got the greatest of all these things here. And it's like, well, they're all good. You know what I mean? Like you're splitting hairs over which one's better.
Right. But yeah, definitely you said it all. I mean, she's very good. Venom is also very good. It's just a matter of who do we rank as the best symbiote. This is essentially what it comes down to.
For sure.
Third character on this list here is Anti-Venom, and I'm gonna be honest with you, this one I could kind of go to, but I like Anti-Venom. I thought he was really the missing piece on this team. I really thought he was a missing piece on this team. They needed a healer. They needed someone that could clear, they didn't necessarily need a healer. They could heal himself in raids, right? But they needed someone that would help them to clear buffs.
And those debuff cleanses.
Debuff cleanses are huge, and then also, the added feature of that ultimate being able to take those negatives, turn them into positive for your team. Yeah, I think. I think he's appropriately at 3, but what are your thoughts on him being in the 3rd character here?
Yeah, I mean, I think you're right. I think you mentioned that you could maybe have seen him at 2, and I could see it. I mean, he is definitely a top-notch, character. That ultimate, that was what I was talking about. Like whenever I'm doing it in game, and if I'm like in a spicy mood, even if I'm by myself not streaming, I'm like yum 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 yum. Yeah. And it's just like, I don't know. There's something fun about when he does that. His basic, especially if it's a 2-tap, he heals, he reses, he gives immunity. Yeah. He cleanses on his passive. Yeah, you hit the nail on the head when you said he was the missing link on this team. And I was, I'm sure there's a lot of people where it was like, what's the last symbiote going to be like? Are they going to fill in the gaps? And they really did with him. And, he was the character I mentioned before, that I had Emma in until, he came along for the ice cream. And I was so happy he came in. I'm like, see ya, Emma, which is crazy because she's a great character.
Great cat, yeah.
So.
Yeah, great character. He's phenomenal. He does a lot of really good things for the team. I like the animations. I'm a big visual guy. I like the animations, and his animations are, I think, some of the coolest in the game. So
no doubt.
All right. Well, I guess you're gonna find out who's number 1 based on who's number 2, right?
Maybe. Who knows?
Maybe who knows? Who could be number one. But number two on the list, definitely Carnage. When it comes to, this team, I think there's a lot of things that he does. The speed bar, Phil, he's really the primary damage dealer of the team, mainly because of that special ability. I think, realistically, he's going to be the one that's going to do the most damage because of all those negative effects. Whenever he does that special, that damage could be really, really big, on the team. But I think arguably he could go 3, but I think we put him as number 2 here because realistically, when you think about this team, you think about one of the character and then Carnage, right? So that's really kind of how the direction that you go, and like him a lot.
Yeah, the spreading negative debuffs just with the basic, the execute that you mentioned can easily take out a character. He's super fast, so you get that ultimate first turn to get things going, depending on what you're looking at. He just speeds people up. He really helps this team. He's like a motor, and so he helps that. And they do struggle a little bit without some of that speed, and he's even got some heals in there too. So, yeah, I love Carnage. I think he's great, and that execute. I've seen some stupid numbers get put up with that thing.
Yeah, that special ability, sleeper, idea, by the way, for some of the earlier to mid game players, we looking to get some characters into Dark Dimension here. A lot of people will complain about that Deadpool node and say, hey, Deadpool's not really possible because if you use a symbiote, that's not entirely true. Stun with symbiote Spider-Man, but also if you get a lot of debuffs on those Deadpools in that Dark Dimension 2 Node 10, what will happen is that if you can actually use Carnage's special ability to actually do damage, and then you'll also clear those negative effects, so Deadpool actually won't heal from them. So just a quick tip on that one too. That's how that kind of works.
That's a good tip.
Yeah, really, really good one. Find it out. It was actually pretty sexy when I did it. And then first character, I don't know if you guys could tell, but symbiote Spider-Man is the first character.
Shocking.
What a shocker. He's probably the only character on this team, apart from Anti-Venom, that's actually plug and play when it comes to raid teams. You actually he doesn't need, like, everybody else needs him. But he doesn't need anybody else, whatever he does, he's self-sustaining, a little selfish when he goes on another team, but at the same time, he's phenomenal, man. Love animations are super cool. That's another thing. I love his basic. I like a sneaky thing that I really like about his basic is that he doesn't get countered. And that's one thing that, you get a lot of that in raids at times. So, him being able to do that basic and not get countered is pretty big. Love the stun. 2-turn slows. I mean, there's a lot. I'm not going to say everything. So I'm gonna let you talk a little bit.
Well, no, I mean, you covered a lot of it there. And it's funny because I remember when he first came to the game, I was kind of like, or heard that he was coming to the game. I'm like, man, this is basically a skin new character, And like, now I'm like, I remember being like, yeah, this is my favorite character. He's just so good. You know what I mean? And it's, like you mentioned, you get special with the extending negative debuffs, which are with this team all over the place with so many slows. You can sometimes extend his stun. So he's extending his own use. Yeah. I mean, he is a fantastic character. Like you said, he's got high damage. He's got the heals. He's pretty much, can roll by himself a bit there or be plug and play with a bunch of other teams. Yeah. I love him. And that's why he was so high up on the Red Star video. Go check that one out, by the way. Yeah. I hated him only because the skin aspect. It was like, I didn't want that, but quickly fell in love. It doesn't take much, clearly. Yeah. But yeah, he's fantastic. I just definitely worthy of that top spot.
Sure. I mean, he's probably arguably one of the coolest characters, if not the coolest character in the game. Animations, like I said, super dope. And then as a character overall, he's very, very good in raids. Plug and play is like crazy. But listen, this is our list. The list is done. We're done here. I promise you there's no honorable mentions on this list. This is it. But seriously, want to know what your guys' thoughts are here. Obviously, this is, like I said, this is a list compiled of, 3 different players playing the game differently at different places in the game. So I think that's good because it kind of helps to kind of like really even out the list a little bit, in my personal opinion. So like that, WolverThor, appreciate you being here, obviously, as well, to go through this list with me, man. But any final thoughts? And of course, where can they find you?
Like I mentioned, the WolverThor on YouTube, WolverThor official Twitch, and then come to the Discord if you want. You'll find links around there. We're a community. You'll find one of us will get you to one of our other channels. But I appreciate you, working on the top 10 with us. I want to echo the thoughts of, we've got really 3 different players that help kind of look at the whole game together. So when you really get to this list, it really does kind of got, a lot of factors in from the different types of players. And I think collectively it works pretty well. So I love to hear the comments that people have if they think, we got it right or got it wrong. And I'm sure we'll get a little both. So
right, exactly. Absolutely. But appreciate you guys watching. Thank you guys so much. We appreciate you. We do this for you guys, and obviously hoping that it's going to be helpful for you, as well. But thank you guys so much. Leave the comments, smash that like button. If you're not subscribed to the channel, subscribe also as well. Appreciate you guys so much. Love y'all. Y'all be blessed, and y'all be safe.